Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how you can install and use MySQL Server with Docker. So for this video I will be using my Mac operating system, but if you have Windows operating system or Linux operating system, the commands will be same, which I'm going to show you in this video once you have Docker installed on your operating system which you are using. So I will start with the installation process of Docker on my Mac operating system, and I will put the link of the videos about how to install Docker on Windows or your Linux operating system. So whatever operating system you have, just click the link of that video and install Docker using those instructions. So let's start with the installation of Docker. So first of all, open your favorite browser and search for Docker. And the first link which will appear here will be from docker.com. So we are going to click on this link. And straight away we are on this docker.com website. Now in order to install Docker, click on Get Started. Now on this page you can see Get Started with Docker. And you will see some options to install Docker. First one is for Docker for Mac. For Apple chips, that means if you have Apple chips like M1, M2, M3, then you can just click on this button. If you have Mac with Intel chips, then you can click on this option which says download for Mac, Intel chips. I have a MacBook which supports Apple chips, so I'm going to just click on this download for Mac, Apple chip button, which is going to start the download for this DMG file. So just wait for this download to finish. And once this DMG file is downloaded, I'm going to click on this DMG file and let me minimize my browser. So the installation of Docker is really simple. You just need to drag this Docker symbol into your applications folder. If you're using your MacBook's trackpad, then just press Command key and then just drag and drop this icon into your applications folder, which is going to start the copying process. You can see copying Docker to applications. Just wait for a few seconds. And once this is copied, we can close this window, eject this Docker from our MacBook. So I can just right click on this Docker icon and then click on eject Docker. Now, once Docker is copied into your applications folder, you can go to your Launchpad section and here search for Docker and you will be able to see the Docker icon here. So I'm going to click on this Docker icon, which is going to start Docker on your Mac operating system. At this point, you just need to wait for a few seconds and you will see this kind of window which appears. So here you can see Docker subscription service agreement, and you will also see that Docker is starting on your Mac operating system, and at the top you can see this kind of Docker icon, right? So I'm going to click on accept here, and now I can see this window which says complete the installation of Docker desktop. The configuration below can be changed later in the settings. For now, I'm going to choose this option which says use recommended settings, which requires the password. I'm going to just click on finish here. And then I'm going to provide my MacBook's password, which I use to log into my Mac operating system. And once that's done, this window appears. You can also see some notifications here, which I'm going to close. So on this next window, Docker will ask you to sign in with your Docker account. The creation of Docker account is really simple. Just click on sign up here. And then it's going to redirect you to this kind of web page where you can provide your email, username, and password. And then click on the sign up button, which is going to sign you up into your Docker account. Now, this kind of Docker account is useful when you want to push some images, which are some custom images, into your Docker Hub account. And then you also need to pull those images. So I already have the Docker account. So I'm going to click on sign in here. And then I'm going to sign in with my Docker account. And once I'm signed in with my Docker account, I'm going to click allow here. which is going to sign me in my Docker desktop. And here you can see this welcome survey. I don't want to give any feedback, so I'm going to click on skip survey here. And now I can see my Docker desktop. So let me just close everything here. And this is how this Docker desktop looks like. On the top, you can see the Docker icon. And you can also see that Docker desktop is running. From here, you can restart the Docker, quit Docker desktop. Also, you can pause the Docker, right? You can also see the images once you have some local images, or if you have pushed some images to your Docker hub, then you can also see those images here. Also, you can see the volumes and other information about your Docker containers. Once that's done, I'm going to minimize this, and then I'm going to open the terminal. So just go to your Spotlight and then just search for terminal and open the terminal. And here we can just write Docker space version here and then press enter, and it's going to give you some information about your Docker version. You can also give this command, which is Docker info, and then press enter, and it's going to give you the information about your Docker engine. Once those two commands works in your terminal, you can also use Docker in your terminal. So I'm going to clear the terminal. And let's say I want to pull some image into my local machine. So what you can do is you can search for Docker Hub in your favorite browser, and we can open this website, which is hub.docker.com. So on this Docker Hub website, we are going to search for MySQL, and then I'm going to press enter, and it's going to search for all the MySQL related images in the Docker Hub website. Now, as you can see here, the number one result here is the official Docker image, and it has been downloaded around 1 billion times, right? So it's the most popular, and it's also the official image of MySQL server. So we are going to click on this first result here, and here you can see more documentation about how you can use this image with Docker on your operating system which you are using. So when you scroll down a little here, you will see a section called how to use this image, and you will see some Docker run commands here. So I'm going to use this first command. So let me copy this command, and then you can open any text editor of your choice. I'm going to open Visual Studio Code here and paste this command here. So basically what this command does is it runs the Docker container with the name some MySQL. So this will be the name of your Docker container. So hyphen name here provides the Docker container name. And using -e, you can provide some environment variables to your container image. So here in this command, we are providing the MySQL root password, which will be used as the password when we want to log into our MySQL server. And by default, this password is my-secret-pw. And then using -d, you can provide the image with that image tag. So in this case, you can even remove this colon tag from here, because if you give the name of the image, then it will always fetch the latest image for MySQL. We can also give the port on which we want to run MySQL. So here, after the environment variable flag, I'm going to provide one new flag, which will be called -p. And using -p, we can provide the mapping of the port. So we want to run, let's say, MySQL on 3306 port. We will map this 3306 port, which will be running inside our container, to the local host. So we will be able to connect to our MySQL server using 3306 on our local computer. So I'm going to just write 3306 here and provide the space here. So this will be our final command. And I'm going to provide this command in the description of this video also, so that you can copy this command directly and paste it into your terminal. So I'm going to copy this command and then you can open the terminal. So let me open the terminal here. And once the terminal is open, make sure your Docker desktop is running. And then I'm going to just paste this command here. And then I'm going to just press enter here, which is going to fetch the latest image of Docker. You can see unable to find the image. That's why it will fetch the mysql:/latest, which means that it's going to fetch the latest image of MySQL. And then you can see it has already pulled the image, and then it has started our container. Now to check whether our container is running or not, you can give this command, which is docker space ps and then press enter, and it's going to show you the container which is running. So you can see here the name of the image is MySQL. The name of the container is some MySQL here. And the port we are forwarding here is 3306 on our local host, right? So our container is running successfully here. You can also check this on the Docker desktop tool, which we have downloaded. So I'm going to open the Docker desktop, and you can see the container name is some MySQL, and the image name is MySQL, and we have started this image 2 minutes ago, and the port mapping here is 3306. What we are going to do is we are going to use a tool called MySQL Workbench, which is a tool by MySQL itself, and it's an official tool, which is a graphical user interface tool which will allow you to connect to your MySQL server. If you don't know how to install MySQL Workbench on your Mac operating system or any other system, I will also put the link of the videos which I have created to install MySQL Workbench on your operating system. So let me open the MySQL Workbench from here. So I'm going to search for MySQL Workbench, and I can see this result here. So I've already downloaded this MySQL Workbench. Once you download and install MySQL Workbench, it's going to look something like this, where you can create some collections. So I'm going to click on this plus icon here to create a new collection, and then I can provide the name to my collection. So I'm going to give the name as localhost, for example. You can also write localhost Docker, for example. Then the host name here is 127.0.0.1, which is essentially localhost, because we are running our container on localhost itself. So if you don't provide any IP address here, this command is going to run the MySQL on the local host, and we are already forwarding our port of the container to the 3306 port on our machine, right? So you can see 3306 is the default port, which we have already provided in the command itself. Now the username here is root. So if you don't provide the username using these environment variables, the default username will be the root user, right? So we can leave the username as root here. The password here will be the password which we have provided. So you can see in this command we have provided this password. So you can copy this password from here and then go to your workbench and then provide your password and then click on OK. And once you have provided that password, I can click on the test connection, and then I can see this window which says successfully made the MySQL connection. So our connection is successful. So I'm going to click on OK here and then click on OK. So our connection is made to our MySQL server, and then I can just click on this connection, then click on continue anyway. And here I can see I'm connected to my MySQL server, And here I can provide some queries here. So for example, I can write the select now and provide these parentheses, and then I can run this command, for example. And when I run this command, it's going to give me the current time, for example. So everything is working fine. So we have a running MySQL server using the Docker, and we are able to connect to the MySQL server using our MySQL Workbench graphical user interface tool. Now, in some cases, you don't want to write this command again and again on the terminal, because this is a very lengthy command. You might not want to write this command again and again. So there is a utility called the Docker Compose. Using Docker Compose, you can create a file, which will be a Docker Compose file. And in that file, you can provide all these flags and save that file on your computer, and then use that file again and again to run your Docker container. For now, I'm going to stop the Docker container. So whatever result you see using the Docker ps command, you can use that container ID to stop your container. So either I can write Docker stop, and my container name is some MySQL, so some hyphen MySQL, and then press enter, which is going to stop this container. And you can see it's going to give me the result. And when I give the Docker ps command once again, I can see there is no container running right now. You can verify this in this Docker desktop section. We have this image, but this container is no longer running. Okay? So now let me show you how you can create the Docker Compose file with the same flags, and you can save that file and how you can run that file. So I have created this Docker Compose file. I'm going to put the link to this Docker Compose file so you can directly copy the content of this Docker Compose file. So what you need to do is you just need to create this file with the name docker-compose.yml, and then paste the content of this Docker Compose, which I'm going to provide you in your Docker Compose file. So here, basically what I'm doing is I'm just pulling the image with the tag 8.0. You can also remove this tag to fetch the latest image. Then the Docker container name will be mysql-local. We are also mapping the port 3306 to our local machine. And then we are providing some environment variables here. So the root password will be root password. You can replace this password. Our MySQL database name will be example DB, and the MySQL username will be example user. All these environment variables, you can change it according to your requirements. And the password we are going to use is example password here. I've also provided this volumes section here. And this will allow you to persist your MySQL data. So once you exit from your MySQL container, then also you will be able to fetch the data which you have already saved into your MySQL database in the next container run. So as I said, I will provide this content in the description of this video, so you can just click the link and then copy the content and paste it in your Docker Compose file also. And then you can open the terminal. I'm going to open the integrated terminal in my Visual Studio Code. You can also use the terminal in your Mac operating system or any other system. So just go to the directory in which your Docker Compose file is there, and then give this command, which is docker-compose space up space -d, which is going to start your container. You can see it has created the container and started the container. This time we have given the name mysql-local to our container, right? So when we go to the desktop utility, you can see this container is running. We have started this container 22 seconds ago. You can see we have run a container which is under Docker, and you can see the container name is mysql-local, and we are forwarding this port again, which is 3306. So let's go to our MySQL workbench once again. And here I'm going to close this connection from here, and let's create a new connection for our new container image. So I'm going to click on this plus icon once again. This time I'm going to name my container as Docker compose local host here. And then the host name will be same, which is 127.0.0.1. Port is same, which is 3306. This time the username is different, right? Because in my docker compose.yaml file, the username which I've provided is example-user. So I'm going to use this username now. Instead of username root here, I'm going to provide example-user. And the password here will be the password which I have given here, which is example-password. So I'm going to provide this password here and then click on OK. And then I can test the connection from here. And connection is once again successful. So I'm going to click on OK here, which creates this new connection. So I'm going to open this connection here. And now the connection is open to my new container, right? Here you can see I have this schema, which is called example-db. I have also created using this command. So the database name is example-db, right? Also see that the MySQL root password is root-password. So if you have used the root username, then you could have used the root password here also, right? So now also everything is running fine. Now to stop this container which you ran using the Docker compose file, you can once again go to the terminal where you have started the container using Docker compose command. This time, instead of giving Docker compose space up-d, just write Docker compose down here without -d and then press enter. And it's going to stop your container. And you can see the container is stopped, and we have also removed the network from here. So this is how you can stop your container using the Docker compose command. So this is how you can use Docker to run MySQL Server on your operating system. It can be Mac OS, Windows, or Linux operating system. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next video.